Stephen Harper wrote this in a letter to Barack Obama. Stephen Harper had apparently highly motivated that when he went to the G20 in St. Petersburg, Russia, his big goal was to get Barack Obama for a moment alone and say, if you approve Keystone, we'll bring in climate plans. And Barack Obama managed to be unavailable to Stephen Harper at all times. It's not a surprise, really. But what could be, I mean, if you wanted the Keystone Pipeline, imagine that we really all really wanted the Keystone Pipeline to be approved. I don't, but imagine we did. And you were trying to advise Stephen Harper on what to do. I don't think anyone would think this was a smart way to influence Barack Obama. Because it's essentially saying, we care so little about climate plans, we're not going to do anything unless you bribe us. Whereas what you want to be able to say is, we are so committed to climate plans that we've already reached our targets, we're ahead of you. And that's why you should trust us to ship you our bitumen and diluent. I mean, I compared this, I tried to compare it the other day with a reporter, because I did work in the Mulroney government, although I wasn't a member of any party. I was a senior policy advisor to the Minister of Environment. And in those years, you had Brian Mulroney trying to convince Ronald Reagan to reduce sulfur dioxide emissions that were causing acid rain in Canada. So his approach was, first let's get, and this was, my boss was Minister of Environment, it was a great plan. Let's make sure that Canada gets its house in order before we press the US. So we wanted the US to reduce by 50% sulfur dioxide emissions. So the federal government negotiated with each one separately of the 7 eastern provinces. We started with Prince Edward Island. That's pretty easy because my boss was Minister of Environment from Prince Edward Island, and there essentially were no sources of sulfur dioxide from Prince Edward Island. So the first province to sign on the dotted line, Prince Edward Island, will cut by 50%. The last one was Ontario, where Inco was the single largest point source of sulfur dioxide anywhere in North America. That's the last one to sign on. But when Mulroney went to Ronald Reagan, he was able to say, okay, we've cut our emissions by 50%, but we're still getting half of the acid rain emissions that kill lakes and streams in Canada come from the United States, so you have to do your part. If Mulroney had gone to Reagan and said, we don't really want to do anything about acid rain, but we'll do it as long as you buy our power, I mean, it wouldn't have worked at all. It's the most wrong-footed, ham-handed, insulting way to try to get, and so in that sense, I'm really pleased because I think Joe Oliver's trip, and also the U.S. right now is, and I don't agree with what the U.S. is doing, but the U.S. is obsessed with trying to mobilize the world to go to war with Syria. I suppose it would have been worse if Harper had said, if you approve the Keystone Pipeline, we'll go to war with you in Syria. But maybe that was something else he wanted to say in a quiet corner. Anyway, the Keystone project will be decided by early next year, they say. But that's, again, a year and a half later than when they were expecting a decision.